A few weeks ago, there was a pretty important Supreme Court decision, Trump v. CASA, where the Supreme Court made a major decision regarding birthright citizenship. And a lot of the news headlines misrepresented what the outcome of this case was, and they would say things like Supreme Court hands the Trump administration a major win by allowing him to continue with birthright citizenship cancellation so that people born in the US to undocumented parents are no longer US citizens. That's not actually what happened, so I just want to take a minute to clarify what that court case said and what the actual outcome is. So the court case did not actually make a decision on whether or not the Trump administration's ban on birthright citizenship is constitutional or not. It's clearly unconstitutional. Like, there was a judge based out of Washington State who issued the first nationwide injunction on this case that literally said, this is paraphrasing, but he said something like, I have never come across a more unconstitutional rule in my time as a judge, because it literally just says the opposite of what it says in the Constitution. What the Trump administration did in this case was they took issue with the fact that a local judge can ban the entire United States or force the entire United States to follow a rule through these nationwide injunctions. In the minutia of the case, the Supreme Court basically went through the history of democratic nations and the history of our jurisprudence to see if there was any authority allowing these lower level federal judges to issue nationwide injunctions on this basis. And their conclusion was that historically, this is not a power that the judiciary has had, and that there's not a strong basis for this. And so their ruling was basically that the lower court judges can't just include everyone in a nationwide injunction if those people weren't plaintiffs in the action. However, there was a major caveat. They still allowed class action lawsuits to proceed. So now, when a lawyer wants to bring a lawsuit to challenge the nationwide policy of ending birthright citizenship, they would have to formulate the case slightly differently so that it would be a class action lawsuit. If it's structured as a class action, then the lower level federal judges do have the power to issue nationwide injunctions. And that's exactly what happened around 2 weeks later. There was another court case brought, and a federal judge issued a nationwide injunction based on a class action lawsuit. So what is the practical outcome here? The practical outcome is that birthright citizenship is still a thing. It's still protected by the Constitution. Your children born here, even to two completely undocumented parents, are still US citizens. The only difference now is that when you want to challenge something and you want the rule to apply nationwide, you have to bring the case as a class action and not just as a limited group of plaintiffs where you're asking the judge for nationwide injunctive relief. All right, guys, so just to summarize, everyone who's born in the US is still a US citizen, even if the parents are both undocumented and have no right to legally live in the United States. The actual Supreme Court decision did not decide the case on the merits. They were just focused on a procedural issue with the federal judge issuing nationwide injunctions. That's the only thing that's actually changed, whether or not a judge can do that. And so now, if federal judges want to issue a nationwide injunction, they can only do that in class action lawsuits. That's the only real change from this. If you want to stay updated on all the latest Trump-related immigration changes, or you just want to receive tips and tricks on family-based immigration or naturalization, be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you actually need an immigration lawyer, or you want to speak to somebody about your case or find out more, or just get some advice and bounce some ideas off a legal professional, you could always schedule a consultation directly with me. My name is Puyan Darian. I'm an immigration attorney licensed in New York. I practice immigration law nationwide. I have cases in all 50 states. So if you need any assistance, be sure to schedule a consultation. You could do it directly through the link below in the video description, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.